Good to see everyone. Happy Friday. Yes, thanks for asking about my leg, Jesse. I got my MRI results back this past week from my skiing accident. I'll touch on this very quickly. I have almost completely torn my MCL. I have partially torn my ACL, and I have to wear the brace all the time in the locked position and try to mend the MCL on its own. Like I have to sleep in it. It's strange. And then I have to have surgery on the ACL. So I can't drive for a while. So if things are a little spotty around here, I'm just going to apologize in advance. I don't like to let anybody down ever. I want to always get to everything for everyone. And so if things are not as consistent as usual, I apologize.
If you see more Art House Tuesday, it's because those movies are easier to get links of.
Yeah. So for example, If is next week and the screening is on Tuesday night in Burbank, and like I can't drive to Burbank, and it's not like you can take the subway to Burbank and they won't send me a link. So Looney says, hello, can't stay long because I have to get ready. I'm seeing Lisa Ann Walter on tour tonight.
Oh, fun.
Have fun. Yes, Charlie, I have an NBA playoffs injury. And James says, I am bionic. Yes. And thank you for the healing vibes. Hey, David LeMan, thank you. That I am feeling better. Yeah, it doesn't really hurt. It's just like wobbly. So we're going to try our best to get to everything. Yes, Art House Tuesday is always in play. Appreciate all of that. But there's actual news too, including Alonzo's book comes out on Tuesday.
Ta-da! Yes. Hollywood Pride. It is available for pre-order. Apparently, according to someone in the comments, it's available for purchase in some bookstores that didn't seem to get the memo about release date. But in any event, you can pre-order it now wherever you get books. You can get the audiobook, get the ebook, and you can also ask your local library to make sure they've got all three of those versions as well.
Yes. So that's on Tuesday. And Alonzo's going to do a live stream from Palm Springs where he's having a book launch. Because if you're going to write a book about gay cinema, Palm Springs is a place to launch it.
Hey, Palm Springs stepped up and I was like, yes, great. Let's do it.
That sounds perfect. So we're going to do a live stream with him down there and me up here. That's next Tuesday at noon. We'll have details for that somewhere. There's a lot of news, actually, including the fact that we learned just yesterday that there's going to be more Lord of the Rings movies, which I know is very exciting to a lot of people and not necessarily us. But I know a lot of folks really, really care about this, all the mythology in the franchise. Andy Serkis is going to direct, I think, the first two. This first one, he's going to star in and direct, so it must be Gollum heavy.
Well, I mean, remember there was that other Jungle Book movie after the Jon Favreau one that Serkis directed, and so like he's been a director now for a while. But who knows, maybe less Gollum because it's like he doesn't want to have to hop back and forth in the green ping pong ball suit between Video Village and the set. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually did a Q&A with Andy Serkis and with the film's composer, Nitin Sawhney, after that movie. And cool. He was great. He was lovely. Teddy KGB pre-ordered your book, Alonzo.
Oh, thank you, Teddy.
Yes. And Jesse says, I'll be getting my copy and adding it to my film history library. Thank you so much, Jesse. Yes, I also don't really care about a Lord of the Rings movie, but having now just seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which we're going to review today, and maybe really miss Andy Serkis in that Caesar role, because it makes you realize how much he put into that performance and how, motion capture is very common now, but what Andy Serkis can do with it is not common.
No, I was always on the team, where is his nomination for those three movies? I thought he was incredible in those. My question about Lord of the Rings is, I mean, have we run out of actual Tolkien material to film? Or are they just going to be making new stuff up out of whole cloth, or what? I mean,
I don't know.
Look, I bailed after the first one. And so at this point, there's too many movies for me to try and catch up on this franchise with. So I'll be sitting it out. But yes, it does have a huge fan base, obviously. And people were there. I guess that Amazon show did okay. We never know the numbers of those. But yeah, more Tolkien, I guess.
We kind of have to review it, though, don't you think?
No, not me. I'll get Bibbs or somebody who's keeping up with this, but there's no way I'm going to go back and watch the first three and then the three Hobbit movies and then all the other stuff. It's just like that Hobbit train is long gone.
Yeah,
It's out of the Shire.
I have seen them. Yes, and has tiny little seats for the hobbits for their tiny little feet. Yeah, I don't care about Lord of the Rings at all, but I also kind of feel like people care about it, so we'll
Sure.
acknowledge it in some
Of
capacity
course.
here. It seems. Yes. Benjamin says we've run out of ideas. Oh, Alonzo, apparently your audio is a little low. I didn't think it was. I thought you sounded fine when you were talking to me earlier. But
I don't know. I'll move it a little closer.
yes. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Hi, Amber. Hi, All in the Game. Hi, Sarv Newark. Yes, Colbert could guest review on Lord of the Rings. He's very knowledgeable. That is true. So we will follow that as it comes along. Apparently, that's coming out. This first one of these is coming out in 2026.
Okay.
David Leman, thank you so much for your kind contribution. I'm not
Yay.
enthusiastic or hopeful like you guys about new Lord of the Rings movies. The original trilogy are absolutely perfect masterpieces. They need to be cherished and left alone. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's so much love for the whole franchise that I guess they figure, not unlike Planet of the Apes, like let's find more ways to get into this, whether we should or not.
I guess I would like to think at some point someone takes a lesson of like what's been happening with superhero movies and sort of thinks, there is kind of a golden goose thing going on here. We can take this so far that everybody loses interest, and I guess we haven't hit that plateau yet. I don't know.
Yes. Our friend Matthew wants to know, is Alonzo watching Eurovision?
I will watch the finals. It's so there's so much happening and so many semis and each country's thing. I do recommend though, if you are a fan of Eurovision and you haven't checked it out yet, there's a new podcast on the Maximum Fun Network where I have a show. The show is called Eurovangelists, and it is a fascinating dive into Eurovision's past. This year, they've been very much keeping up with things at each stage of the game. So definitely go check that out if you are into that stuff.
Good to know. Christine, thank you so much for your kind contribution. Our good friend Christine is here saying, yay, Red, White, and Royal Blue sequel announced yesterday. I did not see that. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yeah, that is Nicholas Galitzine, very hot right now between all the various things he's doing.
Yeah, very shrewd of Amazon to do so. And apparently this one, Matthew Lopez, who adapted and directed the first one, is going to write this one. So it's not going to be based on a novel or anything from the author of the first book. It's going to be a whole new thing that he creates.
Interesting. Speaking of more stuff to watch, they announced this week that The Bear season 3 will come out on June 27th on Hulu or whatever you watch it on, and whatever part of the world where you live. I don't love when they drop a whole season of content at one time. I think it's too much. I like the fact that, like, for example, The Sympathizer, which we're doing right now on our Patreon, is one a week. That's pretty good. So what we'll probably do is what we usually do on our Patreon is like 2 at a time. So if you're not already there, come hang out with us. If you are there, that's how we're going to do The Bear. And I'm thrilled. I can't wait.
Yes, chef. And The Bear is like, even if I were a binger, I don't know if that's a show I'd want to binge because there's so many characters and there's so much detail. I think you just want to kind of savor it and then have to wait a little for the next one. But no, apparently we're getting starter, salad, soup, entree, and dessert all in one shove.
So I can't remember, and I'm sure you guys do because you are good about keeping up on these things. Did they dump all of The Bear season 1 and season 2 at one time, and we just parsed them out?
God, I don't remember.
I don't either.
You know what? I'll look real quick because it'll say on IMDb always.
It'll say on IMDb. Yes, thank you very much. Lance Lee says, "What's Eurovision?" It's a movie starring Will Ferrell.
It's a very big music competition that almost everybody except the United States on the planet is involved in. At least because it's Europe, but then it's also Australia, and it's also like some other places that you wouldn't think would be considered, contiguous Europe, but they got in there anyway.
All in the Game and Jesse both say that all of The Bear came out at once.
Yes, it did on June 22nd.
And we
So,
just
yeah.
parse them.
Yeah. So we'll do it again.
We will do it again, yes. So also we can expect possibly more Shogun. It was announced that Hiroyuki Sanada, who played Toranaga on Shogun, has signed up for more. So we don't know what kind of form that will take. I mean, the way that Shogun season 1 ends, it's very easy to imagine that they could continue with that. I mean, it could end in a way that is satisfying, but it also would feel germane to continue with that story with the Anjin and all that. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but more of that in some form.
Yeah, and I mean, my understanding is they pretty much the entire Clavel novel is season 1. So anything after that would be new territory, but that's not unprecedented. I mean, The Leftovers kind of worked through the novel that was the source material and then kept going. Handmaid's Tale, same thing. So, we could certainly have a world of Shogun with or without the Anjin, frankly. I think if
Yeah.
it was about Toranaga, like that would be great.
Yeah. Thank you, Benjamin, so much for your kind contribution. Benjamin has a question for you, Alonzo. Does your book touch on Scotty Bowers and the infamous gas station at all, or the closeted lives of Rock Hudson, Cary Grant, etc.?
I do talk about the closet. Excuse me. I do talk about the closet. I didn't get into Scotty just because he was not a filmmaker, so like he was kind of tangential to the industry and obviously wrote about it and was the subject of a really good documentary, but I don't reference him specifically, and I didn't use him as a source for information about actors, nor did I use Kenneth Anger for that matter. Their books are very entertaining, but they don't necessarily hold up to scrutiny, but there were other sources I was able to turn to that had a little more sort of resourced or sourced information.
And there's that whole Scotty Bowers documentary recently.
Yes, Scotty and the Secret History of Hollywood.
Yes, our friend Jesse points out that the history of Edo is a series unto itself. Shogun ends right as that period in Japan's history is beginning, the era of the shogunate rule. So I guess, yes, there are infinite possibilities for Shogun. So we'll follow that. And if there's a Shogun season 2, we will for sure recap that because we really loved part 1. Okay, are you guys watching John Mulaney's Everybody's in LA? Alonzo, I know you have been.
I saw like the monologue from the first episode, and that's kind of been it so far, but I'm planning to try and catch up at some point. You were telling me stuff that I did not know was happening.
Oh, yeah. So I've watched all of them because I just think it's such a cool idea. We love John Mulaney in this house. Nick loves John Mulaney stand-up. And so I just thought, what a cool idea. And then once you get into it, you realize like it's so raw and a little messy in a way that is totally exciting. And then he has all these great comics on every night. And then each episode is a different subject about LA. So one was earthquakes and one was palm trees and one was helicopters, and it's all different LA-ish things.
Right?
Yeah, he did one on coyotes, right?
Yes,
and so
right.
and he'll have like on the palm trees one, he had on Amanda Begley from Tree People to talk about palm trees, but then also like Jon Stewart is sitting on the couch with her. And then he'll have an LA band for each one. So they're kind of hit and miss, and that's I think baked into this. Like you have no idea what's going to happen. It's really unpolished. Richard Kind is like his Ed McMahon, and he's just hilarious and charming. And then there were all these really funny little interstitials which focus on people in LA, and like there was a guy who was fishing in Echo Park Lake, and then there was a woman in her Craftsman talking about the Northridge earthquake. And but last night was the best one so far because of who all was on it. He had David Letterman, Bill Hader, Pete Davidson, Lunel.
Oh, wow.
And then among the callers, because they have people call in live and talk about whatever the topic is, our good friend Ben Mankiewicz called in live and had an earthquake story, a Northridge earthquake story. And then the band was Los Lobos, and they did La Bamba, which is a song you've heard like 1,000 times. But I'm like, fuck, they're so good. They're amazing musicians still. Like I never appreciated how great they were until I saw this last night.
Don't they play Richie Valens' band in La Bamba?
That makes sense.
I seem to recall them having some connection with that movie. But yeah, Los Lobos are amazing.
Yeah.
I saw them in 1986.
Oh,
the first time I ever came to Los Angeles, when I covered the Pretty in Pink press junket. They flew in a bunch of college press, and we went to the after party was being filmed for MTV, and Los Lobos played. So
That's
I saw them.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is a good little time capsule right there. I was going to say 86, like you must have still been in college.
I was.
That is so great. But like they had Weezer one night. They had St. Vincent. They had Warren G did Regulate. Like it's a really interesting cross section of LA stuff. And I find him so appealing. And there's obviously so much affection for him. And the reason he's doing this now is because Netflix is a joke is going on right now in LA at different venues like the Wiltern, the Hollywood Bowl, and kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So Sunday, we're going to go to Largo to see Colin Quinn, which I don't know if that's part of this series or it's just like a Sunday night at Largo, but it's one of those and friends things. So we kind of have high hopes that there'll be amazing people as the and friends because everybody's in LA.
True. One of my favorite bus shelter signs for this festival is you can't spell laugh without LA and ugh.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah. So I have really enjoyed this series and I'm going to be kind of bummed when it's over. Tonight is the last night of it. Yeah, I think I saw our friend Doug Arthur commented somewhere in here that he thought the series was a little bit messy. It is. Like the helicopter episode was for a long time very unwatchable. It was very and then like the first episode he had Ray J on, which just kept going and going. It was very, but then he had Seinfeld on that night too. So kind of hit and miss.
You know the Mulaney Richard Kind connection, right?
I do not.
They were both in the Documentary Now episode of Co-op, which is the joke version of the company original cast recording company documentary that D.A. Pennebaker did.
Brilliant. I love that. Yeah. No, he's great. And they have these really cute little promos that they shot. Anyways, if you missed them while they were live, they're all on Netflix. And so you can catch them whenever. But the last one airs tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. Benjamin says, Ben makes me miss What the Flick. Yeah, Nick and I were sitting here watching it and we realized it was Ben's voice. We were like, Nick's like, Ben! Because at first John Mulaney goes, okay, let's take a live caller. He goes, let's go to line 1. Then he looks up and he goes, wait, is this real? And it was. And then Jimmy Kimmel called in one night and they just called him Jim from Hollywood. Anyway, it's a good funny thing. David LeMan, thank you again. The Bear season 1 in 2022 released 2 episodes weekly. And then season 2 last year released all the episodes at once. Okay. Thank you for that. Thomas asked, did you see the Tom Brady roast? Yes, I did. And that was, like Nikki Glaser was amazing, but like they shouldn't have done it live. It went on way too long. And the thing where Tom Brady got up and said to Jeffrey Ross, like, don't say that shit when he joked about Bob Kraft getting a massage, like nothing's off limits. I thought that was totally poor form of him to get up and like actually say in the ear of Jeff freaking Ross of all people, the man who like, this is his entire raison d'etre. He is the king of this. So I thought that was bad form, but you know, it was okay.
I didn't watch it. Dave gave me the rundown and it sounded like there weren't enough comedians and it was just it was like outdoors, right? It was like at the
it was at the Forum. It was indoors.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you said it was the Greek. Anyway, but it just all sounded weird and awkward.
Yeah, because Tom Brady is not inherently a funny person.
No.
Like you can only tool on the fact that Giselle left him for her karate instructor so many times, like this, and that was a source of a lot of the jokes. And you can see he was very, very uncomfortable. Like he doesn't strike me as somebody who's capable of laughing at himself.
Right, that is kind of essential for a roast.
Oh, Kelly says, what do you think about Netflix cutting out Kim's boos? So Kim Kardashian was one of the people there too, and she got just massively booed when she walked up to the podium. I didn't realize that they cut that out.
Apparently, they cut some Affleck thing too. Like apparently Ben Affleck got up and said something, I don't know what, and then it was in the live, obviously, but then later Netflix like trimmed it out or something.
Teddy has a good line. Oh, interesting. Teddy says Tom Brady is basically Lorenzo Lamas in Greece. That's pretty good.
Minus the cardigan.
I like that. Bonzo, yes, I do have a temporary disabled handicap placard for my car. Yes, I did get that. I have that for 3 months. That is gold. Christine says, any thoughts on the Met Gala? Yes, I do want to get to the Met Gala at some point, and we will do that. I want to touch on a couple other quick things first. A new series in the Office universe set at a dying Midwestern newspaper is coming to Peacock, and it's not a spinoff, not a sequel, not a reboot. It's like the documentary crew who shot at Dunder Mifflin is now like, this is their next fake thing.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I don't know if I'm in a place to laugh about the death of journalism.
Good point.
Who could, I mean, maybe the show will be great and have some cogent points, but it just sort of feels like, are we punching down? Have we suffered enough? Like, I don't know. The media right now is in such shitty shape, especially for those of us who try to make our living in it. So I'm not predisposed to think it's going to be hilarious to watch this, but maybe it will be. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know about that either. And I think we've seen so many iterations of this. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is kind of the same thing. I don't know. I don't know
Parks
that
and
I need.
Rec was kind of that.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we need it. But anyway, that's going to.
Even.
Yeah, for sure. The whole fake documentary structure where they're talking to the camera, I think has just been done so much. So that's going to be at Peacock. That's going to star Domhnall Gleeson. So that is that. Also, this is something you were talking about earlier, Alonzo. Well, let's go back to sports for a sec. Lionsgate is developing a TV series about the whole Shohei Ohtani gambling scandal.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, Shohei Ohtani was a superstar for the Angels, and then the Dodgers just signed him for like the biggest contract ever. It was like, what? You guys will correct me on this. It was like $370 million. It was a giant number, like the biggest contract ever. He plays both ways. He's the future. He's charming as hell, was a huge Japanese star, and then came here and took America by storm and got all this money. But the guy who has been his longtime right-hand man and his interpreter, who was part of the package deal, like, you want me, you got to bring him in. There was this whole scandal where he had like $17 million in gambling debts. And I guess Shohei Ohtani like wired it to somebody, like wired it to a bookie, and that's how it got discovered. But there's also been sort of a question as to like, why did he do that? Who did he send it to? And now there's a Real Housewives husband who was the middleman between Shohei Ohtani and the bookie. So that is what this is about.
He threw a game or something. He just
$700 million. Thank you to all you correcting me. No, he didn't throw a game. He didn't. And apparently this guy allegedly didn't even bet on baseball.
I see.
But he bet on other sports and is not good at it, it seems.
Apparently not. So this isn't a Pete Rose situation. I knew
No. And no one is accusing Shohei Ohtani himself of gambling. This is the interpreters doing.
Gotcha.
Yes,
he's just caught up in all of it, I see.
Yes, Shohei me the money, says Victor De Giovanni. Yes, very good. So Bonzo says plays both ways isn't what you think it is, Alonzo. Do you understand what I mean when I say that?
I assume you mean like he's a good batter and then also good at catching.
He's a pitcher.
He's a pitcher. Okay.
He's a pitcher.
Right. This doesn't get better. But I know what you mean.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Todd. Glad you're here. So did you see any of the arrivals?
Yeah, I didn't watch this year, not because I had any sort of objection to it. Some years I'm feeling it, and other years I've got something else going on. It was interesting to see the number of people online who were like sort of offended that it was happening. And my takeaway for that was like, well, it's not like we're never at war somewhere. Like there's always some terrible thing happening in the world. And so if you want to be like, oh, how can they be doing this right now? It's like, it's always right now. It's like, there's never a moment where things are so chill and peaceful that, US, we can have a Met Gala and it's fine. The other thing is that this thing raises a ton of money for the Met. Yeah. And if we lived in a country where the government actually supported museums and the arts in general the way they should, they wouldn't have to put on this dog and pony show. But the government doesn't, so the Met does. And so I'm not going to be mad at the Met Gala for existing, even when there's a lot of trauma going on in the world right now. I saw a couple of like the craziest outfits because that's always what gets the most traction. But what were you into this year?
So the theme was Garden of Time, which people interpreted in various ways. Zendaya, who of course always kills it on the red carpet and was a chairperson of the event this year, had various wardrobe changes, and so she always looked great. I thought J-Lo looked amazing, and she just did something that was like, there's a lot of very sheer kind of like lacy beaded stuff.
Okay.
I think Garden of Time you can interpret in, you know, a variety of ways.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the people who always look good looked good. The people whose job it is, you know, that's the thing. It's like a full-time job to look like that.
Yeah, if not at the Met Gala, when, you know. I did see like Barry Keoghan and Michael Shannon both kind of looking like Willy Wonka.
And why not?
Sure, why not?
You know, if not now, when? But Zendaya had both Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor there.
Nice.
But not Tom Holland. But all the usual suspects, like, you know, like Kim Kardashian. Speaking of Kim Kardashian, like the people that you always think are going to be there. But yeah, Zendaya looked amazing. And I thought that Rachel Zegler looked really, really pretty, but I feel like she didn't get the memo as to what the theme was, because she just wore this really beautiful kind of like an ice blue kind of plunging sequiny dress. And it just could have looked nice for any, you know, very formal red carpet thing, the Oscars or whatever.
She was dressed as the Ice Age.
Maybe. Yeah. Tay says the Met Gala inspired the Hunger Games, not the other way around. I mean, maybe. I mean, we don't know that. I don't think I'm frozen anymore, guys. Thank you for commenting that I'm frozen. I think I am not anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Anna Wintour was accompanied by Andrew Scott and Jude Law.
Nice
double Ripley's. The double Ripley's.
Oh, funny. I didn't even make that connection. That's good. Well, no. Jude Law is Dickie.
He's Dickie. That's right. But it's a Ripley.
Sure. Yes.
Ish.
Thematically, we'll count it. Yes.
Thing. Anyway, so yes, I always enjoy the Met Gala. That's always fun. And then we need to talk about Steve Albini, who died at age 61. Alonzo, tell us about Steve Albini.
So Steve Albini was involved in a couple of bands, including Shellac, who actually their next album comes out next week. So they were still an ongoing concern. And I think is it Big Black is the other one? I don't know. This is a Dave White question, but mainly known as a producer in the 90s, worked with Nirvana, worked with PJ Harvey, a lot of people, and really kind of sort of pioneered a form of like stripping things down. Let's make the band sound like it's as live as possible. It's as unsort of fettered by kind of studio trickery and layering and that sort of thing. So it was a very kind of clean, raw, some might say, sound, and really influenced like the 90s sound in a lot of ways for certain genres of music. He was really kind of the author of that.
He also did the Pixies' Surfer Rosa.
Yes.
Which has many, many important songs on it. David LeMan, thank you. Did you guys see the Channel 4 documentary Spacey Unmasked about Kevin Spacey's inappropriate behavior over the course of his life? I saw some screeners of it and hope he gets therapy and feels remorse for his actions. I have not watched it.
Has it come to the States? Is it showing anywhere here?
I don't know. Yeah. Is it here in the U.S.?
This is literally the first time hearing of it, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I've seen some headlines about it, but I have not seen it. And it's about, his, his victims talking about what happened with him. So I don't know if I want to watch it or not.
I know. It's like,
I feel like compelled from a professional perspective. I feel like I should know, but I also, as a human being, don't want to know.
Yeah, it's sort of like why I didn't watch that Nickelodeon thing. It was just like, does my soul need this right now? I don't know.
Yeah. Benjamin says, Christy knows about the Pixies. She is certified Gen X. I know all about the Pixies. I have seen them in concert many times. And I've seen Frank Black at the Mint.
Yeah.
So David LeMan says it'll be on Max soon. Okay, we can ponder it.
Okay.
All right. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for spending some time with us. We've got to jump to go do some reviews now. We're going to do Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes today, as well as Pool Man, Chris Pine's directorial debut, Pool Man, which got savaged last year at Toronto, which made me even more interested in seeing it. So we watched Pool Man, and then also we are going to do episodes 3 and 4 of The Sympathizer on Max. We are now all caught up with The Sympathizer. They are coming out one a week from now on.
And
So
we'll do one a week.
yeah, we will also do one a week. So yes, so we have all that for you. We're so thrilled that you're here. Thank you for coming out on a Friday afternoon, wherever time of day it is where you are, wherever you are in the world. We're here every Friday with you. I'm going to try to keep the Friday lives going. If I have to have surgery, I'll schedule it so it's not at noon Pacific.
Oh, please. You be all propped up in your bed with the thing on the little table next to your Jello, you know.
I'll be super loopy, like more than usual. It'll be fun. It'll be a must-see television event. So hang out with us tomorrow, Saturday, which means Saturday Matinee newsletter is coming. If you've not yet subscribed to my newsletter, I'd love to see you. That is at ChristyLemire.com. You can sign up for that. And we're thankful to all of you. Thanks, Teddy and Vic and Christine and Doug Arthur. Always a pleasure to see you on Hell. Hope you are recovering from your skiing injury and you're feeling better too. Thanks, Kelly, for the good vibes. And we will see you again on Tuesday at noon. I'll pin a thing to the top of the page soon. Tuesday at noon Pacific. Alonzo live in Palm Springs. Thanks to all you guys.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.